Namaste. Today in this podcast of Get Right to Education, we will listen about headache written by R.K. Narayan. Let's start. Of all the blessings conferred on mankind by a begin providence, the most useful is the headache. But for it, there would be many great embarrassment in life. Factual explanations are not always either palatable or feasible. In such circumstances, headache acts as a sort of password. I remember at school, the very first letter writing lesson I was taught was, "Respected sir, as I am suffering from headache, I request you to grant me leave." I always wonder what made our teachers select headache as an excuse. Even in a specimen letter, I think it was very much in everybody's thoughts useful alike to the pupils and their master. For us, a headache was a boon. We used to have drill after school hours, which I still think is an unfair and undesirable practice. We disliked this hour. On the drill ground, almost all appeared to be afflicted with splitting headache. Sir and our drill instructor put an end to it by decreeing one day, "Those suffering from headache will hold up their arms." It raised our hopes, but he added, "Since I wish to detain them for some special exercises that will cure their headache." Not one lifted his arm, at which the instructor declared, "Now all of you take off your coats and get through the usual drill. I am glad to find that the class is going to exercise its full strength today." Headache gives the sufferer a touch of impotence. All other acts around crude and psychological, and sensitive people would not mention them. No other ailment can be so openly mentioned with impunity. You could mention headache is the most elegant social gathering and no one would be shocked by it. The only expression which is superior to headache is indisposition. Whenever I see that word, I wonder what it exactly means. It is one of those curious words like inanity, which has no entity, which do not necessarily mean the opposite without the in. You cannot say, "Owing to disposition, I am not taking the medicine." Whereas you can say, "Owing to this indisposition, I called in the doctor." What exactly is this indisposition? I have never been able to understand it, except that it sounds very well in press notes or health bulletins or in messages from eminent men to gathering to which they have been invited. Indisposition cannot generally be said by the person directly afflicted. It does not sound very well for anyone to write directly. "Owing to indisposition, I am not attending your meeting." It sounds unconvincing. It sounds better in the third person. It implies that the gentleman is an eminent one, has a secretary or a deputy who can speak for him. "Mr. So and so regrets his inability to attend the meeting today owing to indisposition." People will understand and accept the statement and will not question. What is that indisposition? Is he down with flu or malaria or cold or rheumatism? I know a doctor who can cure it. On the contrary, just accept it at its face value and pass on to the next item. Indisposition could be used only at a particular level, not by all and sundry. A schoolboy who says, "As I am indisposed, I want to be let off," will have his ear twisted for his precociousness. I think I should shock mankind if I suddenly said there is no such thing as headache or indisposition. It is all just an excuse, an elegant falsehood, for have I not seen dozens of headache cases walking or driving about gaily to be seen everywhere except where they ought to be at the particular hour. The world is not yet ripe for such outspokenness. A man cannot say, "I am not attending the meeting today since I don't feel like it." A clerk who writes to his master, "I am not attending the office today because I am not inclined to look at any proper paper today," will lose his job, whereas as he quite at liberty to say that he is down with Headache. Headache is essential for maintaining human relationship in working order. We cannot do without it either at home or in public. In any normal household, one can see a variety of headaches containing of a variety of uncomfortable situations. The mother-in-law who forswears her food on the plea of a splitting head is clearly not on the best of terms, at least for that day, with the daughter-in-law or her son. The son who pleads headache may want to keep away not only his friends and officers but would like his wife not to be praise him too much to fulfill his promise to take her out. The little man who pleads headache has definitely skipped his homework and would like the tutor to be sent away. As I have already said, it will not do that all too bluntly truthful on all occasions. The sign of cultured existence is not to pry too deeply but accept certain words at their face value as expressed by the speaker. Headache has become such a confirmed habit that a huge trade has developed in providing a cure for it. Some people feel lost unless they carry a tube of some headache remedy in their pockets all the time, and opticians give glasses guaranteed to relieve headache. These are instances to show that mankind easily begins to believe in its myths.